Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Money League. We were on a small hiatus for a couple of weeks, but we're back at it. Me and Milsey. Our boy Harjas is in Singapore, so he should be back soon. Milsey, no football this week. So what are your thoughts? I know NFL is starting, but no real football. What are your thoughts?
Oh, there is still football out there. Of course, the
Yeah.
international break. So there's still very exciting football out there, but no EPL matches this week. Everybody gets to rest because there's a lot of soft
hmm
tissue injuries out there. They need time to recharge, and they're going to come back next week, and it'll be a lot of great matchups to watch.
Yep. And talking about international, Milsey, looks like international countries are trying to take over clubs, and there's a small issue. I don't know if how they're going. They'll settle it down, but it looks like Newcastle and your team, Man City, are in like a little bit of a tussle with the PIF from Saudi Arabia. And what's happening out there? Can you give us like a little bit of an insight? And let's go from there.
Yeah, the many of the top clubs in the EPL, they've talked to a lot of the UK regulators and also some of the board of the EPL to stop what's known as nation state ownership of clubs. As you know, Newcastle was just taken over by the PIF,
hmm
or the Public Investment Firm, which is the sovereign firm of the Saudi royal family. Now, when they submitted the paper to take over Newcastle, which they did, they put it as the state of Saudi
And
Arabia.
isn't like a government member like the kind of like the CEO of the club or something?
Yes, sir. His name is Yasir Al Ramayan, and he's actually a sitting member of the Saudi government. And
Solid, right?
a lot of clubs are saying, hey, they breached their contract, saying they have no ties to the Saudi government. So, and of course, it's known as the Kingdom of Saudi government. So they're saying, oh, they breached contract.
hmm Well, we'll see what happens, but hopefully in like a couple of months we'll get a resolution. But like I mentioned in our pre meeting, Milsey, like they'll just move around pieces. They'll put like another lame duck as the head of Newcastle and move around. It's just too much money involved, and I think they'll be fine. Dude, the interesting thing, I think it happened like 3 or 4 weeks back. We did not touch upon it in our previous show, but a Norwegian club apparently found out a loophole for the offside rule. And as I was like reading it, just like it it, it was intriguing and interesting, but I don't know how it's gonna like play out in like a Premier League or a La Liga or like even like international football. Can you like give me like a little bit more so that people can understand what the loophole is for the offside?
Yeah, it's really interesting. And when you think about it, it kind of makes sense. Torns is a third division squad in the Swedish league. Now, they're
Swedish league, my bad, not Norway. Yeah.
yeah, the Swedish league. They came up with a sort of a argument to law 11, to the second section of law 11, which states a player is in an offside position at the moment they touch the ball. That is touched by a teammate, and when they touch the ball. Now, what Torrance is saying is that only applies to first point of contact, meaning when your foot touches the ball, not when a player releases it to a teammate and the teammate is on an onside position and they run into an offside position. Technically, they're saying they're still onside because the ball is onside. So
hmm
it makes sense when you think about it.
Makes sense when you think about it, but I'm sure like other teams have noticed that, right? And I think it depends on the referees how they're going to call it, right?
Yeah. So yeah, it all yeah. It's like it's a slippery slope because they're saying, okay, when did the person stop being onside to stop being on to start being
hmm
offsides? Like, when did they release the ball? At what point did they touch it? Were they on in the transition of
hmm
in to out when their foot touches the ball? It's a slippery slope, but
It's a
still.
slippery slope, and it's a tough one. See, like even with the VAR right now, like it's helpful, but there's so many controversies around VAR. It's not like foolproof, and I think these things are just like more technical aspect of it, and it's tough to like real time referee like looking at these things. It's tough to monitor. I don't think it'll they can do anything unless Thorn ends up winning the Swedish like top league. I don't think it's ever going to be like, but it was an like, interesting read. I think I will put a link on this video so people can read out. That was like interesting one. Okay, Milty. So ESPN released, I think top 10 or top five highest paid flops in the EPL, and the top three were Paul Pogba, of course, my team, Fernando Torres, and Naby Keita were like the top three. And of course, the other players we can go down. There's so many flops for Man City and Chelsea and Arsenal. Um, But I want to do something different. I want to see, again, this is all prediction and speculation, right? So based on the amount of money EPL has spent this year, it can be any team who spent a lot of money, including my team. Who do you think is going to be your top two? Let's say like your two players who you think are going to be like number one flops this season.
One of them is going to hurt me because he plays for the French national team, but my biggest one is all the hype around Sofiane Amrabat. He is a good player, but like he hasn't touched the pitch yet. But he suffered a back injury in training, so that's maybe a red flag. Who knows? He could be amazing, but I'm not buying the hype.
Yeah, but he's on a loan. He didn't. He's not like on a permanent transfer. He's on a loan, so that's interesting. Yeah, go ahead. Who's your French player out here?
One of my favorite strikers, Christopher Nkunku, who made the move from RB Leipzig to Chelsea. He's out again with another knee injury. It's always that MCL. He just can't stay healthy, so he's going to miss a lot of time too. And they're already without and Chelsea is just your health goes to die when you go to Chelsea. When you go to Chelsea, you get hurt.
Dude, that every player, right? So many players. It just happens. I just feel bad.
Oh my God.
Every player. Okay, so I have to go with my boy Mason Mount. Played one game. I don't know. We paid a lot for him, and looks like he's gone out for 6 weeks. And again, he looks all cool and everything. He looks great with number 7 Man United jersey. But unless he turns a page and comes out in flying colors, I think Mason Mount is going to be one of the biggest flops for United. And the other one, which I don't know, this is still the jury's out, but this is my thought process, is Kai Havertz for Arsenal. He kind of reminds me of the Fernando Torres when he moved from Chelsea to Liverpool, and it just took him so long. So Liverpool to Chelsea. Sorry, I flipped that.
Chelsea,
Yeah, it took him so long to it was, I think Kai Havertz is in that scenario. That's my prediction.
Yeah, because Fernando Torres just never really could get his footing when he moved to Chelsea. It's like all the expectation and they're expecting you to put up 30 goals a season, especially like that. And pretty much because Chelsea's been a sinking ship for a while, and he made the move over there from Liverpool in January 2011. He left 4 years later to go to Milan, and they lost 49.2 million pounds on it. So
again, it's tough, but they probably sold a lot of jerseys, right? So you never know.
Arsenal let go of Valérien Balogun. That's your striker.
That is true.
You're gonna let him go to Monaco. So that's their problem.
We shall see what he does for the US. He's going to play for us, so let's see what he does. So unless he becomes like a superstar, I'm not going to put too much stock on that guy. Milty, we talked about a couple of injuries. What are the top 4 or 5 injuries we're looking into going into the international break? And hopefully these players can come back. But I know Mason Mount and folks like that are out for a couple of weeks. Can you give us a quick 4 or 5 players who we need to keep an eye on?
Yep, some big ones, mainly in the Euro 2024 competition qualifiers, which is a big competition in this international window. Irish striker and of course Brighton man Evan Ferguson. He's dealing with a patellar tendon injury. He is out indefinitely. And the prize English midfielder Trent Alexander-Arnold is dealing with a hamstring strain. He's out 1 to 2 weeks. He had to withdraw from the English national team. Also, and it hurts me, Jack Grealish has for Man City, he has a muscle strain. He's out 1 to 2 weeks as well. And as we mentioned earlier, Sofiane Amrabat, he has a back injury and he's considered day-to-day.
Yep. And thanks for that update. And I'm just looking at the EPL table, Milty. Of course, Man City has had a great start. Liverpool's had a great start. Arsenal's had a great start. Man United, Chelsea, and Newcastle. Oh my. Oh my, oh my. And Man United's loss to Arsenal, it just didn't feel right. It's just so bad. I don't know. I'm hoping the international break comes at the right time, and when they're back, Ten Hag can pick it up and rock and roll. But
Liverpool absolutely handled Aston Villa. That is true. That was masterful. That was masterful.
That was masterful. And again, people are sleeping on Jurgen Klopp. I love Jurgen Klopp. I think he's good. But again, you guys are unstoppable. I don't think anyone can beat you guys unless
no one can stop the mighty Man City. Come on, man.
We'll see.
We all know this.
I think the main season starts after Champions League begins, because that's when you're looking at load management and the different lineups and things like that. That's when the depth comes into factor. Awesome, Milty. I think that's pretty much it for this week. Good luck this weekend in your NFL bets, of course. And we'll be back next week. And hopefully our boy from Singapore can join us soon.